Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We are live here today with our guest, Alexis King of Alexis King Consulting. Hello, my name is LJ Finney, and welcome to Any Given Monday. I am broadcasting live from Ardsley Country Club, where I'm at a golf outing, where I happen to also have met Alexis at a golf outing for PowerPlay. So, Alexis, tell us a little bit about your consulting firm and some of the work that you do.
Hello, good morning, LJ, and hello, everyone. Excited to be here with you this morning. Yes, it's interesting. The story of how we met was I am the chair of a board of an organization called PowerPlay NYC. And what we do is we promote the activities of girls in sports, in team sports, all different kinds of sports, not just any sport. Giving them leadership skills and showing them how to work in a team. And it's just really exciting. The day we met, we were doing an event for them, our golf and tennis and pickleball outing. So it was just exposing all the girls, and they work with coaches, and then we have a leadership program as well. So that's one of the things I do, is chair the board of that organization. And then another thing I do is that I'm really excited to have recently launched Alexis King Consulting officially. I've been doing it kind of on the side for many years now. And now what I do in my career coaching business is I work with individuals who are either maybe feeling stuck in their current role or excited about moving to a different role in their current organization, but aren't sure how to do it, or even have to make a career transition altogether due to forces that have happened to them or by choice. For example, starting their own business or changing industries, or what happens when you're either laid off or you retire and you're thinking about, what do I need to do next? So I call myself a career transition ninja.
I love it. And that's actually just a glimpse of what you do. You've actually been helping a lot of people with transferable skills. I mean, talk about your own journey going from the work that you do now, maybe share a little bit about what you do now, and then even how you got into real estate, because you didn't mention that one.
Yes. So going back, I was in banking and financial services for 15, almost 20 years, actually, for several years. And then, this was over 10 years ago. You know how the economy changes and things happened, and my position was eliminated. And I was working with a coach myself. And I said to my coach, I loved what I did, but I just don't want to go across the street to the next bank, because over those 15, 20 years, I'd worked at, I think, 3 banks over those years. And it was great, just changing positions is like the only way to move up in that field. So I just thought to myself, I don't want to do the same thing. I want to do something new and exciting based on the skills of what I liked most. And what my coach asked me was, well, what did you like most about your previous job, and what did you like least? So focusing on what I liked most, which was training, engaging with others, working with leaders, and how they could move ahead in their careers, I thought that's what I really want to do. So I was able to find out that there's a whole world out there that I didn't even know about, where it's just as an independent consultant and trainer. So I worked for a training company that flew me all over the country, focusing on learning and development. So I had learning and development skills, and then I kind of honed them and fine-tuned them a little bit more, and joined the organization ATD, which is one of the premier associations for learning and development. It's called the Association of Talent Development. And I just learned and grew, got a lot of knowledge there, became a master trainer and an expert trainer, then which got me other roles. So I was working with companies that would fly me all over the North America. I went once to the Caribbean to do some training for an organization. I thought, this is amazing. I really love this. It was great to have the skills that I was using in banking and finance, which was working with leadership and managers. And now I was working with companies all over the world in different industries. So I was still doing training, but for companies such as pharmaceutical companies, biomedical companies, construction companies. And I mean, just the most interesting thing I ever did was do some sales training for a company that sold those lead vests that you get when you go to the dentist.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's an industry for that? And he's like, yeah, there's different types of lead vests and different weights, and that certain doctors can get their names put on them, and you can have them different lengths. It's longer in your arms or longer to your knees. And I was like, this is fascinating. But the interesting thing is that the skills that I was using for training were able to get me into different industries. So that was one career transition. And then again, things changed. I got an opportunity to work for an organization where I became an in-house trainer. And I really enjoyed that as well. It included, I was the trainer and sales coach for all of North America. And that was really great. And then the next thing, that role, after being there for 2 years, I got the opportunity to get into tech, which was super exciting, especially kind of being where I'm from and the years of experience I had. I really didn't know that much about tech, but I did know about how to work with customers, work with leaders, pull out, those leadership skills and share those skills because that's what was transferable.
So there are so many gems there, so many gems. And I'm like, where should we start? But I think one of the things that I'd like to start with is, the golden handcuffs. We are in these jobs that we don't necessarily love. We don't necessarily love all of the work that we do. Talk about how you help your clients get closer to the things that they actually enjoy doing, because I think we've just been socialized, or we've just normalized dissatisfaction as just a way of life in corporate America. And even when I work with the interns, I am constantly asking them to pay attention to what they enjoy and to just stop and pause and reflect on it. But if you've been in corporate America for 20 years or 15 years, even 10 years, you've normalized some of the behaviors, and you may not know what you like anymore because you like that check. You like the freedom that it gives you. You like the vacations you take. You like everything except for your job. So talk to me more. Tell the audience what they can maybe start doing, or how you work with your clients to tap back into like what lights you up.
LJ, you put it perfectly in the distinction between what you may have formally trained on or what you're actually good at, as compared to what you really enjoy doing, which may be the same thing, but they may be different things.
Yeah.
And if there is a part of something that you enjoy doing in your current role, because our roles these days do not just comprise one particular skill set or task that you work on, it's usually several things that make you successful in what you're currently doing. And there's always parts of a role that you really enjoy and parts that you might not enjoy so much. And what I talk about is giving yourself the permission to think about, what do I want to do? What do I enjoy doing? What would I like to do more of? And there's a fear there that just because I'd like to do more of it, will someone pay me to do more of that? Is there a field out there to focus on what I enjoy doing? And what happens is most of the time we don't even look. We don't think about it. We don't say to ourselves, where can I go to find it? Even in this day and age with all of these resources, we don't spend enough time focusing on ourselves. We focus on career, meaning the classic definition of career, in that we think it's the straight line trajectory, and that I'm in this industry, so I should be moving up from this level to this level, or this leadership, or becoming, going for the VP role in marketing because I'm in marketing now.
Yeah.
As opposed to, did you get a lot out of marketing? Did you learn things while you were in marketing? Did you work with cross-functional partners that you thought to myself, wow, I really love working in marketing, and it allowed me to engage with the product team for our company, and now I want to work on the product team, and that's okay. It's increasing your skills. It may seem as a lateral move, but really in essence, you've doubled your skill set. Once you get there and you learn all the things that the product team does. So it's not really lateral. It is moving upward and onward and expanding. So more about expansion.
So one of the other things, like I love this, and I think one of the challenges that I've seen with senior leaders also is the fact that they've been doing something for so long. They don't want to make the sacrifice. They've put so many years in. They literally are handcuffed to these roles because they've taken maybe that very straight path forward or straight path up, and they're moving and they're elevating MD. They're at these senior levels, and now they're here in these very, very senior level roles and don't know where to go next. What type of advice are you giving individuals that are more seasoned or senior in their career transitions?
Yes, that is definitely that sweet spot. Sometimes it's referred to as middle market, or middle managers, or right below the VP level. And you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I've made it to the middle, a few more steps, and I can be, at a more senior role in this organization or another organization. But in essence, they're by this time probably not as passionate about the industry or maybe the role. And then the thing is that as you do move up, the amount of roles gets smaller, and
Yep.
openings and opportunities. So it's not that you're not qualified or not ready, and it feels like there's this ceiling holding you down. But really, in essence, we're living longer, people are healthier, people are, there just aren't as many roles. And also, the way the industry, the macro environment is moving is we're all trying to do more with less.
Yeah.
So as organizations are trying to do more with less, that includes maybe less people, maybe less leaders. The structures are changing significantly at a rapid rate. So what you were working towards 10 years ago, it may not even exist now, or it may be in a completely different format. So therefore, you have convinced yourself that the only way I can go is up, or I'm feeling handcuffed, but that's actually not the case. You've got to start networking, sharing your experiences. At senior levels, what you do is more decision-making, strategic, thinking about planning for the future of the organization or the division that you're in. Those
Yeah.
skills are absolutely transferable. You do not need to know the ins and outs of a specific industry in order to lead that industry. And we know this is a fact because we see it. If you watch CNBC, you will hear that this person who was CEO of company X, who does pharmaceutical sales, is now the CEO of company Y, who is the head of car manufacturing or food services. So you do see at that level, if CEOs can go from one organization to another, knowing that they've had no background in that industry and do well and be successful, we've got to apply that mindset to ourselves. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I will tell you how that happened. They were playing golf for 4 hours, and then someone said, I've got this space or this opportunity, or not even this opportunity. I've got this problem that I need help with. Didn't you lead, or didn't you fix, or didn't you correct, or didn't you address a problem with your staff or attrition or productivity or profitability? And the guy will say, or the girl or the woman will say,
Sure.
yes, I did. Oh, could you come over and, maybe step into this interim role until we find someone? I believe that is how most of the conversations go. So we talk about networks and even us connecting, very serendipitous conversation. And you started talking about the work that you do. But one of the things that I loved about our dialogue is that we can be multi-hyphenate. We can have multiple things that we do well. And so I wanted to talk to you more about just some of the things that you're seeing helping people pull out those things they do well, because we're not, I'd say sometimes we don't know what we don't know and someone else has to tell us. So how are you helping people extract that goodness?
Thank you for that question, LJ, because it is a lot of, some of us have been taught to introspect. We'll figure this out on our own. We are going to come up with a strategy. We'll sit down and we'll do this. And I just know that this is going to be what I need to do to get ahead. And in the end, that's not either the best or the most efficient or effective way to actually make that transition or get ahead or to learn more, to do something different. So it does take help, whether it's your village, is it other people in your industry, is it a mentor, is it a coach? But you do either need to have someone who's helping you along, or are you reading books or watching podcasts that can give you the permission and let you know that it is okay to just start having these conversations with others.
Yeah.
Once you start having those conversations with others, you'll realize that it's okay to feel this way, to think this way, to believe that you can be successful doing something else. Once you realize that that is the case, then you can start taking the steps. And what I talk about are the steps that you need to do in order to move in your career in the direction you want it to go. I have 5 little tenets that I find are easy to follow. And it's like, what are you passionate about? Are you prioritizing that? Do you have a plan? Are you patient? Are you persistent? Those are the things that can get you ahead. And I go into that in more detail in some of my coaching courses and in how I am actually working on my book to help others. But it is that introspective and asking yourself these questions. What am I interested in? How can I move in that direction? What steps do I need to take? So who do I need to be? Who do I need to know? What do I need to do? Are some main questions that in any situation, if you ask yourself these questions, then you will come up with the steps that you need to take to move your career in the direction that you want it to go.
Oh my goodness, so many gems there. I've come to the realization that people are not comfortable, even myself, in asking for what they want, or even saying or giving themselves permission to say, I really want to be a person that works with kids. They're afraid of the outcomes, or they're afraid of the consequences, or the judgment that comes with it. How do you think people can, as they're thinking about working with you, or they're thinking about switching careers, just getting out of their own way, like the mindset around that? How can they start to shift their mindset? And I love this dialogue between us because, just as a coach, when people stand over the golf ball, when people are trying to leverage golf in their careers, but they show up with the same insecurities, that's not helpful. It's not helpful. Like, we have to kind of dig deeper. So talk to us more about just even that mindset shift around saying what you want.
It's an interesting time that we are speaking right now, because what's happening in the world at this very moment is the Olympics. And you mentioned golf, and I was watching. Golf is in the Olympics, for those that didn't know.
Yes.
Along with breakdancing. So lots of exciting changes. But it's that type of mindset that this is the goal. This is what I want to achieve. I am willing to be open-minded to advice, right? The best of the best. What do they do in any sport? They all work with a coach, or they work with their team who are in the same sport, encouraging each other, giving each other permission to give your all, go 100%. So there's a lot of support that happens around this time of year. We get to see it, and it's a great reminder. But also, even when we're not thinking about what it takes to be successful and win a gold medal at the Olympics, do you have an entrepreneur mindset? You are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of your career. You may be the CEO of your family and your household. So and you apply these skills, like that type of mindset, when you get home and you're running a household. All the things that entails. Working and consulting with others in the family, making important decisions around the budget, finances, all of those things, plans for the future. So we know, you can do it, right? So you're the CEO of your household. Even if you live by yourself, you're still the CEO. And you're the CEO of your career, meaning, or it's your business. Think of like, what do entrepreneurs need to do when they're deciding these things? What do? They surround themselves with the best. They use the resources. They reach out. Does your family, if you're talking about your family, does your family go to the doctor? Are we keeping those appointments? Because that's critical to your success in other ways. You've got to take care of your health. Same thing with your career or your business with an entrepreneur mindset. This is my career. What am I doing to enhance myself? Am I educating myself? Am I always, especially nowadays, on top of what is happening and changing within my industry, market, division, field, whatever term you use? You've got to be on top of it. And you've got to allow yourself, no matter what you studied and what you graduated from with, however many years ago, your skills and the skills that you need to be successful, they change about more than 25% about every 3 to 5 years. So you need to be upping your skills, whatever industry you're in. To quote Stephen Covey, sharpen your sword. It took me forever to figure out, what does he mean, sharpen your sword? Sharpen your mind in whatever your industry and field is. So are you engaging in podcasts? Are you reading or listening to books? Are you attending webinars? Are you attending big conferences and events? And they're becoming more and more popular now, because that's where the experts go. That's where you can find out what's going on in your field. Do you have alerts, Google alerts, or any kind of alerts to make sure that you're aware of changes or updates or exciting things in whatever field you're in. That's a great place to start. Or you can do all of those things for whatever field or industry that you're interested in moving towards.
Yes, yes. So
That's
let's wait. So that's key here. So there are two things that I have a very controversial opinion about education. I do believe that everyone should get some form of education and be very familiar with their space. But then there's this moment where people will become over credentialed and only keep going to school and not focus on how to apply that. So talk about the very challenging line between taking classes and classes and classes and never implementing versus knowing when to actually start to apply what you've learned versus going to get, because, and I will say this, women are the most over credentialed people in corporate industry. We go back to school, we get doctorates, and all of it in the effort to pursue a job that probably could have gotten without those degrees. So let's talk about education. Where is the line that you're or recommendations that you're giving some of your clients?
The reason people go back, especially women, for education is vast. And I've studied this. The reason why so many of us go back is because we know or we feel that we need to do that one thing to get a leg up, to get that promotion, to move up in our field. And we think, and we've been told for years, well, if you just have this degree, then you'll get this. If you just have this degree, then you'll get this. Because we know as women or people of color or people of color, that when we put up against others, we're never seen as equal. If you have the same degree as the other person you're going up with, we're still here. So then we think, well, if I have 2 degrees, then they can't say I'm still equal to the person who has 1 degree. When in the end, the statistics have shown that, especially compared to men in America, women will have more degrees, but still we're making what? 70 cents on the dollar, no matter how many. So we've been told all the years, we'll just keep getting a degree, keep getting education, keep going back. And I am always going to support that. Because I've been around long enough to see that everything goes up and down. Remember, there was that talk of, well, you don't need a degree, you can be in tech, and you can, if you work in the computer field, in IT, those certifications are all that matters. You can make
Never my reality. Never my reality.
Right.
But yes,
not our reality,
never
but
my
for
reality.
others. They were seriously told that. Don't worry about going to college. As long as you have these certifications, you'll be fine. And then 5 or 10 years goes by, and you're 10 years older, and now everyone else has these degrees, and the certifications, and you only have the certifications. So that can definitely count against you. So I do caution against telling someone that they shouldn't pursue it. It's just that can't be your only thing that you do. Because what happens is we tie that if they just see in my profile or on my resume that I have this degree, then they're going to give the job to me. I'll be qualified. I'm going to get that job when I interview. And there's so many other things now that are looked at as people are hiring, especially now it's more skills. So you may have the paper, but do you actually have the usable, workable skills and knowledge to succeed in this role? And that's what hiring managers are looking for.
Yes, absolutely. The team building, the ability to communicate, project management as a life skill. I am a huge advocate of project management as a skill. And team building activities, we do them. I do them on and off the golf course, of course.
Absolutely.
But so that there's that line. So I will always say, I always say get the education, but don't use the education as the reason why you don't have a role, because sometimes it's networking. Sometimes it's more.
A lot more than just education. And that is the secret. Maybe that's the thing that people don't realize, because also just from generations and where your family background can be, that will be all they push is just go back to school, get more education, get more education. More education is great, but it's not enough, or it's not the only thing that's going to help you get ahead. And it is both soft and hard skills. So your education is in X, but are you looking to do Y now? Or your education is in Y, and so is everyone else's. So what are you doing to stay on top of what, in addition to what you have your degrees in, right? Yeah. Because the skills have already changed between 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. That stuff is now old.
Yeah, you have to constantly keep refining. And one of the things we didn't talk about, and I know we're almost at time, but You also have a thriving real estate business. Can you talk about some of the skills and the fact that we should be able to use our skills in multiple ways to build our businesses and to generate revenue, but diversification and leveraging the same skills, but doing something else with them. Talk about that a little bit for us.
Yes. Another transition that I made while still working my day job was the pandemic happened. I'll shorten the story. The pandemic happened. All this idle time on our hands. It started with one conversation between myself and my cousin, and we went in a 1-hour conversation from let's go away on a quarantine vacation with my family and my nieces and her husband and children. Let's all just go get a cabin upstate in the mountains. And that conversation went from that to let's start a real estate business. Let's form an LLC. We bought all these properties. We fixed up homes. We got them on Airbnb. We started a real estate business. I got my real estate license. And then we started doing several different things. It went from just short-term rentals to now I have full-time renters in 4 of our properties. I also started doing real estate outside of the state, and I had some properties where I was doing what's called rental arbitrage, which is I learned about, which is where you can rent a place and then put in people for midterm rentals I was doing. So a lot of nurses and construction workers in Texas and Florida who needed to stay in an area for 30 to 60 days to work on a project. All of these things I would not have known about. So I took the skills that I learned from just working in corporate America, applied them to being in real estate and learning a whole new industry. I did a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier. I went to a lot of conferences, some of the biggest and the best. I learned a lot. I got my license, not because I want to be a real estate agent, but because now I have the background, the skills, the information on how the industry worked. So I haven't sold anyone a house ever. I've barely even showed a property, but I really feel confident knowing that I have my license and I understand how the industry works. I then started networking and I learned that there's so many different things you can do inside of real estate because I was open to it. I do apartment syndications where I'm a part owner of huge multi-million-dollar real estate apartment complex. And it sounds fancy, like, oh, I've got a real estate building worth $10 million, but I only put in like just a small amount. But I learned about, and this is what ties into corporate America, how to run the business, how to properly understand the tax situation, and how completely beneficial it is to be in real estate specifically and understand the different types of write-offs and what you can do and the importance of the relationship with your CPA, with your real estate agent, with your property manager, with the people in your team. You have to have a core team in order to be successful in real estate or as an entrepreneur. And that really helped me be extremely successful in my real estate business, which is thriving and growing. I had to get a virtual assistant, all kinds of things, just to keep on top of all these things. So it was really great, real understanding, what do I need? Who do I need to surround myself with in order to be successful? In order to run this business from 1,000 miles away, what do I need to do? In order to handle dealing with bears in my property in the mountains and getting the grass cut, as well as understanding plumbing and what a shark bite is and all different kinds of things about housing that I didn't know about. But it's by expanding, being open, and understanding that I'm going to need to know this to be successful. Or I'm going to need to find someone who knows how to do this in order to be successful. So that has made all the difference in the world.
I love that. I love that. And in that case, educating yourself and getting the certification allowed you an entry point into a new market, and it gave you the tools to be more profitable in your execution. So one of the things I'm hearing though is execution. You have amazing execution skills, because a lot of people have ideas, but they can't bring that idea to fruition. So we are at time, but I think that what I'd love for you to share before we let everyone go, one, where to find you, and two, what are like 2 tips that you would give for anyone thinking about getting a coach?
Sure. You can find me at alexiskingconsulting.com. Easy to find me there. You can find me on LinkedIn. My profile is up and active there. My website's also there. So do reach out. One of the other tips is I like to just share this analogy of, if your career is important to you, working with a coach will help you advance. For example, when people say they go to the gym because they want to lose weight, and they go to the gym for years and they don't see anything happening. But when they get that personal trainer and they work with this personal trainer for 6 weeks, at the end of that 6 weeks, they're like, wow, I can't believe what a difference it's made. 2 years I went to the gym. I didn't see the results that I wanted. I work with a personal trainer for 6 weeks and look at the difference. So that is the analogy that I think helps people. You're investing in yourself when you work with a coach, because that person's going to pull things out of you and they're going to push you to do things outside of your comfort zone, whether it's one more rep in the gym or one more phone call or email or connection in networking with someone that you normally wouldn't reach out to.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Alexis, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And that concludes this episode of Any Given Monday. Stay tuned for the next episode and hope you join us.
Thank you so much, LJ. Great to be with you.